Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Letitia and this is That's So Letitia. Feels like I've been gone for a while, haven't did a tutorial in a few weeks. Just everything that's going on kind of put me in a funk, but I am back. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. So for today, what we are going to be doing is a smoky eye nude lip. So what I'm going to do first is prep my face using Laura Mercier's hydrating primer. I love this guy. It is actually called their Pure Canvas Primer. I really enjoy using this one because it's a water-based primer, which means that if you have oily skin, such as myself, it actually helps the product to sit properly on the face and not on top of oils as if it was an oil-based primer. And I know my setup is a little different today. I wanted to try something different. Typically when I film, I stand up, and this time I decided to sit to see if that makes any difference in the way that I pretty much present the video to you all. So that's why it looks a little bit different. Like my makeup counter and all of that stuff is actually visible this time. So we will see. If you like this setup better, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so now that we have the primer on our face, I'm just going to reach behind me and grab one of my favorite foundations, which is by Flesh, this guy here, and I'm going to dabble. We're going to start with one pump onto my hand. And now I'm going to take my foundation brush by Sephora. This guy is number 56, and I'm just going to usually for me, just one pump gets the job done. Again, it is, buildable. So if you require or if you prefer more coverage, you can always go back in with a second pump and add on to what it is that you already put on your face. And next I'm gonna follow up with a little bit of under eye concealer by Tarte. This is their Shape Tape in shade 53S. This kind of hides all of my extra late night hours that I spend watching TV or playing Animal Crossing right now, since majority of us have so much free time on our hands. And because this one dries down very fast, and once you get it on, it's one of those that stays put. Doesn't really give you much room to work with in terms of moving it around after it begins to dry. I'm just going to use a damp beauty sponge and go ahead and start getting this one patted in. Okay. And then I'm going to follow up with my concealer by Juvia's Place. And this is in shade 12. You guys can see that. And I'm gonna put this to the areas that I wish to bring a little bit of a highlight to. So this is what that looks like. And as usual, while I wait for this to dry down so that it can be blended in, I'm going to do the boring task of getting my eyebrows together, which, by the way, I am pretty happy with at the moment. My brows are actually growing in. I mean, they're thin, they're still sparse, but they are growing in. So I am super excited about that. She is back and her brows have been applied. thanks to none other than Benefit Brow Contour Pro Pen. I think I said it in the right order. If you guys don't know about me and this pen, you need to check some of my latest, most recent past videos. You would think that I was a spokesperson for this pen. This pen has done so much for me in the way of giving me confidence and compliments on my eyebrows. So my brows have been applied. I took the liberty also to kind of save us a little bit of time of blending in my concealer off camera, and what I'm going to apply now is actually my contour shade, which is also by Juvia's Place, and the shade is number 6 for this guy. Just during like all of the extra time that we have right now, I've been catching up on some really cool content on Instagram. There's a brand that I follow. They have been posting daily actually it's almost scheduled. It feels as though you're like in beauty school right now, depending on how you look at it, and I love it. I have been watching their content, and one of the things that one of the makeup artists that is featured, she's pretty much featured like every day or every other day. What she has been saying is that her particular brand, the way that they map your face out is in 3 sections. So you have zone 1, which is from hairline to top of the brow. Zone 2 from the inner brow to, I believe, your lip or somewhere up in this region. And then zone 3. And depending on how wide your zones are, helps you determine exactly where to place your like highlight and your concealer and how much you should bring it down so that each zone is proportioned. And I've been using that method a little bit. I'm still learning, but I do notice like a significant difference, especially in where I'm bronzing and where I'm contouring at. It kind of creates a better proportioned effect in terms of the shadowing of my face. Okay, so I'm going to take a damp beauty sponge and I'm just going to actually turn this way so I can use my mirror, and I'm going to kind of blend that in a little bit. And one thing I do when blending my contour, I never blend downward or use a downward motion because it drags it down on your face, and you always want to lift up. You want those cheekbones to sit high, not drag it down to make your jawline look extremely long. So I always kind of blend upward. And I know it looks a little crazy right now, but there's a method to my madness. We're going to get all this together momentarily. And that method to my madness, as I just spoke about, is me taking my foundation brush that I just used to apply my foundation and not applying any new product, but taking it and kind of whisking some of the harsh lines away so that my contour actually blends seamlessly into the rest of my complexion. See that side as opposed to that side. So this is what we use this for. Just kind of whisk it across the areas that We put the concealer on lightly though, because you don't want all of your hard work of your contour to disappear. You just want to blend it out a little bit better. Now we are going to apply our setting powder. I'm going to be using Anastasia Beverly Hills in Deep Peach. Beauty sponge. Okay, so we're just gonna let that sit, and we are now going to get into our actual eye look. Palette I will be working from today is Norvina's ABH Volume 1. And to get started, I'm just going to use some of the ABH eye primer to prep my eyes using a finger. Looking in my mirror. Okay, and since we have our ABH primer on, now we're gonna get into our eye look. The first palette I'm going to use is the Norvina ABH's Volume 3 palette. Yep, Volume 3. And the shades that we're going to use are C3 and D1. We're just going to kind of sandwich those two. Dab the brush in C3, dab it in D1, and begin and I'm just going back in D1 and C2. We're just gonna add a little bit more. And the same is going to go for this eye, D1 and C3. And I'm going to take a clean brush. This brush has been with me since the very beginning of me even being interested in makeup. I'm not gonna date myself if I tell you how long I've owned it. Just know this is a MAC brush, a real hair MAC brush. The bristles started out white. They are since tinted permanently. And yeah, there's like no markings or anything really left on it to let you know exactly which brush this is. Let's just say this brush has got a tremendous amount of love over the years. I'm just gonna use this guy and just kind of soften out a little bit. See, just soften it out just a little bit, right? Okay. And then for the drama, what we are going to do is go to the Norvina Volume 1 palette. Using the Norvina Volume 1 palette, I'm going to now take D5 and E5. And we're just going to sandwich those two together. D5 being the black and E5 being more or less like a maroonish brown color. So I'm just going to sandwich these two together. And we're going to start the placement. And because I have a very hooded lid, I have to start higher than where those of us who don't have hooded lids would start. For this one, because it is daytime, I did not use any additional primer to kind of give or create new eye space. I pretty much want the two to merge into one, so that it's not so bold for daytime. And then we're going to go back and use our very much loved, very dated MAC brush. And I'm just going to kind of soften out the outer perimeters. So that they kind of merge a little bit. And now I'm going to pretty much perform the exact same stunt on the other eye. D5, E5, D5, E5, married together, merged together, and I'm just going to begin to apply towards the bottom and somewhat up into the eye socket area, or right where you feel that eye socket at, right up in there. And one of the things I really like about the ABH's palettes, and that pretty much goes for all of them across the board, is that there is very minimal, if any at all, fallout. So although we're using such dark colors, and you know, we're using them pretty lightly, just going layer by layer. But if you were kind of pressed for time and you were using this palette and you wanted to just pretty much kind of pack it on, there's really no fallout with these colors or with these palettes. And we can't do the up top without the bottom, so I am going to use a angled brush. Brush looks like this here. We're going to use this guy, and pretty much we're going to use the same method that we used up top. So we're going to go back into our Norvina 3, volume 3, and we're going to go back to C3 and D1, and we're just going to begin using that up underneath the eye. And you know what? Let me get rid of some of this setting powder. Okay. So we're gonna do C3 and D1 of the Norvina 3. We're gonna pack that up under the eye. And now I'm going to use my Morphe smudge brush in M321. I'm just gonna bring that out a little bit more. I am now going to go back into the Norvina Volume 1 palette, and we're going to do the D5 and E5 combo under the eye as well. So we're back in the Volume 1 palette, and we're going to accent up underneath the eye with that combo. Going back in using the smudge brush from Morphe, my M321. Just kind of smudge or merge the two shadow combinations together. And that is pretty much it for the shadows. Okay, so still staying in the Norvina Volume 1, I am going to use D2, which is this shimmer purple toned one here, kind of a jewel tone. I'm going to use a tad bit of that in the inner tear ducts for a highlight. See, this is what it looks like. Okay, so we have our highlight. And since we're done with the eye look, we are now going to move on to our lashes. As we all know, lashes can make or break your look. But the lashes that I'm going to use, they are a little bit more bold than, say, wispies. So first I'm going to start off by applying a bit of Tarte Maneater mascara. And the lashes I will be using, they are by Lilly's Lashes. I love this little compact. It's so cute, right? And the ones I'm going to be using today are, the style is called Brooklyn. So I'm just going to apply the lash glue. Okay, so while we're waiting for our lashes to dry, we're going to apply our blush. I recently ordered some cream blushes. I am so super excited to get those just because I'm used to using like a powder blush, and I would love to see how well I could fare with a cream blush. But until those guys come in the mail, you should already know, if you've watched one or two of my videos, that I am a die-hard fan of Black Radiance blushes. Nothing has changed. That's the blush we're going to use. The shade I'm actually going to use is Warm Berry, which is also a jewel tone to complement the inner eye tear duct accent. So I'm just going to use my blush brush here. Look into my mirror. And get to applying. I actually like that. I think it really complements the eye makeup as well. And usually when I use this, I don't put it on so heavy, but I was in the mood today, so we're gonna roll with it. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more on my brush. And we are now going to do the opposite cheek. And I don't know if you guys apply your blushes this way. I like to bring mine up into the hairline a little bit. Just kind of something I learned old school from watching like my mom and my aunts get ready when they used to do their makeup. And I kind of like the effect that it gives. So I tend to bring my blush into my hairline as well. Okay, and now that the blush is there, we are going to get into our Lippy. Lippy we will be using today. It's pretty much a nude. So I'm going to start off with the lip liner. It's by NYX. And this one is their Suede. It is in the shade Cold Brew, which is a dark brown. We are going to follow up with Dose of Color, and this is their liquid matte their liquid matte Lippy, and this one is in the shade Truffle. It's here. And I like their matte lippies because they go on real creamy, but give them a few minutes and they dry down. They're matte. The color staying power is amazing. They don't smudge. They don't budge. And then we're just going to top it off by using NYX Lingerie. And this one is in the shade Teddy. And we're just gonna add a tad bit of this one. And that's it for our lip. I'm going to apply those lashes. I'll be back and then we'll finish off this look. Okay guys, I am back. I applied the lashes and yeah, so those lashes really turned this look a little bit more bolder than I had initially led on or anticipated it to look. So again, lashes can make or break your look. If you are going for daytime glam, I definitely suggest using a lighter, more wispy, more natural looking lash, not something as full and bold as obviously the lashes that I have on. Because I do like more of a bold eye, I'm going to keep these lashes on, but nevertheless, a more bold eye, a more bold eyelash, more of a neutral daytime eye, more or less a very soft, subtle eyelash. But this is it. This is it. I wouldn't change a thing. I am in love with it. All bits and pieces of it. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, for watching. And if you have not yet already subscribed, you have the time. What are you waiting on? Please subscribe. You want to be one of those that said that I was there with her from the bottom to the top, or I was there with her from the beginning, and now look at her. So yeah, as always, keep your brushes clean, stay positive, make sure to like and thumbs up your content creators that you watch. This stuff is not as easy as it seems, getting in front of your camera and putting yourself out there for the world to view, judge, and critique. It's not necessarily as easy as people make it out to be. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and until next time,